right, welcome to day one of our autumnal welcome. This is Zena, in case you haven't met her before. She's decided to sit on my spot. Anyway, the focus of today's movement session is going to be the theme of grounding. So as we're moving from the energy of earth, which is our center, our ground of being, into the energy of metal, which is that of fall, we always want to start where we are, which is in our bodies, in our center. Feel our physical presence, feel our very real physical space that we're taking up. I knew she was going to do this, so I'm going to go let her out of the room. All right, yeah, she's a bit camera shy. Anyway, so we're going to just take a few moments to feel our physical presence here in this room or wherever you are. You can start with this sitting down or standing. And then I will walk you through via palpation your stomach and spleen meridians, which are channels of bioelectric current related to the organs of late summer and earth, which is the stomach and spleen. And then we'll do some movements which will help open up those meridians as well as activate the energy of the lower body. To me, when I think of stomach, spleen, and earth energy, even though it's embodied in what they call the flesh or the muscle, I think of it very much a lower body energy, kind of our roots, our sense of stability in our legs. So we're going to do a few movements to really energize that area. And then we'll end with some affirmations. All right. So just get comfortable. Again, you can do this sitting. You can be in a chair, on the floor. You can be standing, but somewhere where you can be very conscious of your connection to the ground. And just kind of turning your attention inward, feeling the space that you are taking up in this world, in the air. The weight of your body, your mass, as it were, organs, bones, flesh. And start moving your weight around a little bit from one sit bone to the other or one foot to the other, feeling your pelvis, feeling your spine, shoulders. You can stretch, contract muscle, start to wake up the flesh, as it were. Stretch the feet out, toes. Bringing your awareness to your head, the weight of your head. Our heads weigh about 10 to 12 pounds. And we don't really notice how much they weigh because we're so used to this, but we're just taking a moment to shift the head around in different positions, and you can feel your muscular changes responding to supporting the weight of the head. This is all about support, internal support. All right. Just take a breath. Inhale, let yourself sink into your feet or your sit bones, whatever you're sitting on. All right, so I'm going to take you on a tour of your stomach and spleen meridians. Again, you can do this sitting or standing. I'm going to stand up and shift my camera angle here. All right. So the stomach and spleen meridians are largely on the front of the body and a little bit on the sides. And the stomach meridian travels down from the upper body to the feet, and then the spleen meridian comes from the feet back up into under the armpit and the rib cage. So let's just begin with the stomach meridian. So you can use fingertips, gentle pressure. And we're going to begin at a point on the cheekbone just under the eye. Is where the stomach meridian begins. Crosses the jaw. You can do a little massage if you find a point that feels like it's calling that. And we're going to come down across the jawline into the neck, right in front of the large SCM muscle here. I'm going to cross over the midpoint of the collarbone, down the pectoralis, crossing the nipple line. Breasts are part of the stomach energy. And then we get to the rib cage, which we're going to come in a little bit as we go down the abdomen about 4 finger widths away from the center line of the abdomen is where the stomach meridian is. I'm just going to palpate down this area. We can do this a few times. You can trace it, you can rub it, moving that energy down, and then it's going to come down to the hip creases, the leg creases here. And this is an area of a lot of lymph node clusters, and it's an area that tends to not get as much movement as it should to move that lymph from the upper body and lower body. So the stomach meridian crosses this crease and it comes over to what I call the front outer corner of the quadriceps. So if you're to place your hands on your thighs, it's where your pinky will end up. And we're just going to palpate down that line to the lateral edge of the knee, and then continuing down between the muscle and the bone, down to the ankle, crosses over into the center part of the ankle. There's a little hollow there, and then top of the foot to the second toe. So here I am. So that is the whole stomach meridian, and then the spleen meridian picks up on the inner part of the big toe. You press that a little bit and it's going to come up the body, and so we're going to cross over the top of the arch, in front of the ankle, coming up the inner part of the shin, just inside the bone. It's going to be a little tender here, especially as you get up closer to the knee. It's going to come into the medial aspect of the knee joint. And then again, just like with the stomach on the outside, where your thumbs land is the spleen meridian, coming up the inside. A little pressure there, and again, coming back up to the leg crease. So from here, we'll do one side at a time. So the spleen meridian is going to come over to the side, and it sort of crisscrosses over the side of the rib cage, comes in a little bit under the breast, and then it comes up around the armpit, and then hooks back down into the center of the rib cage. So we're just going to take one hand. We can give a little extra stretch here by bringing the arm up. Give a little massage. Again, a lot of lymph clusters here into the armpit, and then back down into the rib cage. And then we'll do the other side. Coming up on the side of the breast tissue, armpit, and then hooking back down. All right, so those are your stomach and spleen meridians. So just take a moment to feel that echo of the sensation of your palpation there, just to get an idea of the pathways we're working with. I'm going to start to position ourselves. So now I want we're going to be standing, placing your feet about pelvis width apart, spreading the toes, and again bringing in that idea of earth energy, rooted groundedness, legs being your roots, connecting with the earth, shifting the weight side to side, front to back. You're going to land in a place where your weight is more spread out over the center and the back part of the feet, so your toes can lift. And then really connecting with that strong energy from the pelvis, through the legs, down into the feet and into the ground below. Relax your tailbone. Relax your abdominal muscles. Rib cage, shoulders, top of the head lifted toward the ceiling. So we're stretching up nice and tall through the spine and rooting down through the feet. We'll begin with a move called separating heaven and earth. And in this move, we're really, again, opening up the armpit and the sides of the rib cage, as well as the space under the rib cage here, where the stomach and liver are housed, the middle organs. So nice, soft, relaxed arms, elbows, wrists, hands. Bring the hands up, forming a ball between the hands. Breathing in, we're going to rotate the hands so one is on top, one is on the bottom. And then with the exhale, we're going to flip the palms away from each other. And though we're pushing two forces, heaven and earth, away from each other, we're going to stretch through the side of the body, open up the chest, exhale, relax, release. Come back to center, rotate the ball, alternate hands. Generating some tension in the arms and then releasing the tension. Bring back to center, relax the shoulders. Pushing away, feeling that stretch. Inhale, relax. Pushing down through the feet as we also push through the palms. Relax, release. Pushing away and coming back. Let's do one more on the other side. Inhale back to center, come back to the ball. Rotate the ball and relax. All right, we're going to do this move again. We're going to step it up a little bit in intensity, bring some more strong energy in through the legs. So I'm going to widen my stance, sink down a little bit into a small squat. Now if you're doing this, if it's okay on your knees, and a way to keep some of the more intense pressure off the knees is to make sure that you're sitting back off the center, off the front of your feet, and your knees are not coming out in front of your toes. So it's like you're sticking your butt out a little bit like you're on a small stool behind you. You'll feel it here, but hopefully you won't feel it as much in the knees. And we're going to drop down. Again, bringing the ball up. Now from here it's going to be a nice, strong, so I'm still pushing my palms away from each other. One palm facing earth, one palm facing the heavens. Really stretching over to one side. And as I release this, both palms facing up, scooping my hand across, pushing down, palms facing away, stretching out and over the other foot. Just going to do this one more time on each side, bringing that arm down, palms facing away, pushing up to heaven, pushing down to earth, both palms facing up, alternating arms, pushing away, and coming back to center. Bringing the head upright, torso upright, relaxing, holding this position if you can. We're going to bring the hands together, grasping the moon. This is the full moon today. All right, so we're going to bring that moon up, keeping the arms extended but not locked, up and over the head. Shifting the weight from one foot gently to the other side, still maintaining that strong connection with the ground. Nice and slow, coming up and over. Abdomen participating in the stability. Stretching up through the sky, down, all the way to the center, come back to that center point, still point, pause, breathe, and we're going to go in the other direction. All the way up and over. Your legs might be feeling it a little bit now. Coming up, dropping down. One more time, nice and slow, controlling the movement. Controlling the transference of weight from one foot to the other. Coming all the way down. Sink a little lower for bonus points. Drawing up and relaxing. All right. Bring your legs back at ease. Rub them out a little bit if you like. Right, the next set of moves is going to be to help open up this hip crease. Again, this is an area that has a lot of lymph flow, a lot of lymph clusters, as well as a lot of other tubing, arteries, and nerves that come through, that pass through this line. And when we're sitting a lot, it doesn't get that dynamic movement that it should be getting to help facilitate that flow. And if we're not walking a lot, with nice long strides, that's where that movement would come in organically. So I'm going to show you in two stages here. One is in a lunge position, which if you're okay with pressure on your knees, then you can do this, and if not, I can show you a standing modification. So you can also, you can do this right on the floor. If you need something under your knee here, you can place that on the floor, pillow, or folded up blanket. So we're going to come down. Let me adjust my camera again here. Come down into a single knee posture here. Toes hooked under. Now you want to make sure that your legs and your feet are lined up with your hip joints. In other words, your foot's not way off to the side or off to the center line, but in line with where your hip joints are. And you want to bring your foot forward a little bit, so a little bit more than a 90-degree angle, so you have some room to move forward. We can do the basic lunge, which generally will contact mostly the belly of the quadricep muscles here, in which case we would lean forward. So my whole upper body, pelvis, and thigh are going in line. And I can feel that nice stretch in through the thigh. All right, we'll come back up. And now to really contact the actual hip crease, the hip flexors. So when we're doing this type of lunge, the pelvis basically is staying in line with the thigh. If we keep the thigh perpendicular to the floor, and all we're removing is the pelvis. So basically I'm tucking my tailbone under, I'm pulling the pubic bone up in the front. And it's not a big move. You're not going to really see me do a whole lot here, but I can feel it. Because we're really just opening up this space right in here, right in the groin area. Just tuck the tailbone under, and taking care also not to thrust the chest out or curve the back in any way. The only part that should be moving is the pelvis. And again, it's not a very big move. So as you feel that nice stretch in the hip crease, you know you're getting it. We can release that, come back to it, stretch into it. Pull the pubic bone up, tuck the tailbone under. This is where your psoas muscle and your iliacus muscle are connected at the upper thigh, if you know what those are. All right, let's relax that. Now we're going to transition to the other side, so you can do that however is comfortable for you, or you can plant your feet, back foot, front foot, distribute the weight right in the center, and we're going to push up through the thighs and turn and lower back down. So again, lining up the legs, the feet in their own channels. Do the quadriceps stretch first. Again, taking care not to lead with the chest. Try to keep your rib cage relaxed. So you're just bringing your pelvis forward with your upper thigh. Feeling that nice stretch through the quadricep muscles. I can even feel it into my abdomen just above my hip bone here. I know that gets tight. All right, we'll come back, and again, keeping the thigh perpendicular to the floor, relax the rib cage, and then tuck the tailbone under, pull the pubic bone up, because the temptation might be to clench up your glute muscles to push the tailbone forward, and that creates a whole nother set of issues. So you can leave that relaxed and just let your contraction be from the front here, pulling up the pubic bone, and getting into that nice deep hip crease. Again, you can release that, press again, we'll come out of that again. Planting the feet, if this is comfortable for you to do. Push down through the front foot and the back foot simultaneously. Lift yourself up. We'll come back to center. All right. Let's see. Sit back down here. Oh, I'm going to show the modification for this. So if coming down into a lunge is not comfortable for you, you can still get this movement from a standing position. So positioning your feet, again, so the foot is in line with the hip channels. One foot in front, one foot in back, and your toes are facing in the same direction. They're parallel. All right, so depending on the ability of your calf muscle to stretch and the ability of your hip crease to open will determine how far your feet should be from each other. If you have a lot of length in there, you can bring your foot further back, but you want to keep your body centered over the center of the feet. And then as you tuck the tailbone under, you can feel that stretch into the hip crease. Now the degree to which your back heel can touch the floor will also determine how open you can get into this area, because if your heel can't reach the floor, you never quite extend all the way through that area. And you can play with that. If you bring your heel up, bring your heel down, as long as you're not arching the back when you do that, keeping the pelvis tucked and then stretching the leg back, you can contact this area. I hope that made sense. If this is too far for you, that you can't get your heel to the floor without also arching the back or bending the knee, bring your foot up a little bit closer and start there. You want this whole area to remain upright and stable. And then bring your heel back. All right, let's do the other side. Again, finding that position, it might be different from one side to the other. Tuck the tailbone under, let your heel hit the floor, feel that nice pull, probably from the abdomen down into the hip, into the leg. You can play with that, bring the heel up, plant the heel down. Try not to let your chest move or your low back curve. Bring the tailbone forward. All right. So that's a nice little move. And you can do that anywhere. Like if you're not able to get out and walk and really extend through your legs, because that's where that movement would come in, you can just take breaks just to do that. Keep both feet on the floor, shift the weight back and forth, just really opening up into that hip crease. This area is sort of the bridge between the upper body and the lower body. And when we're sitting a lot, we're kind of cutting off that exchange of lymph flow and circulation and nerve information and all of that. So it's really good to exercise that tiny little part of our bodies. All right, let's come back down into a sitting position. Again, just taking a minute to mentally connect our awareness to how our bodies feel. Again, feeling for the mass, the sense of mass, the sense of space we are taking up in this body. Now that we've moved some body parts and woken them up, our proprioceptive system is communicating a whole bunch of information about our awareness of ourselves. And just noticing what you feel. Hopefully a little more energized, open, but maybe a little sore too. That's okay. Maybe we feel a little lighter as well, which is probably not measurable sense of lighterness, but a sensation of lightness as we energize the muscles, we innervate them, we create a little bit of a charge, what we call tonus, right? That tonus is actually supporting our structures from the inside. When we move our muscles in a healthy way, they are also providing that internal support of our structure, as opposed to, we know, like when we're feeling heavy and tired and fatigued and we haven't moved for a while, it's almost like we are carrying extra weight, right? So doing some of these movements can really help buoy us up from the inside. All right. Just going to do a little shifting. Just feel yourself, feel your flesh, as it were. Feel your lower body, for better, for worse, is certainly on board now. All right, we're going to conclude with some affirmations. You can just choose to focus on something that you are feeling right now that you would like to take forward with you. Or I will offer a few of my own. I am fully present in my body. When I'm stuck in my head or feeling overwhelmed, I can use movement to return to my center. I inhabit this unique space in the universe with dignity and strength. I nourish my body, mind, and spirit, and I listen to my body's intelligence to let me know what it needs. All right. Well, if any of those resonated with you, take them with you today and into the days forward whenever you need to feel more back in your body, ideally coupled with some movement to really feel the sensation of those words. And I will include them as well in the post as this goes out. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, of course, you can contact me, Gina at Embody Grace, or through my website or whatever. I'm sure you know how to find me. I'll be happy to answer any questions or hear how it went for you. That would be awesome. All right. Thank you for joining me.